Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good to see you again.
Good afternoon. Good to be here.
Yeah. Well, it's I got it. It's a Tuesday edition of A Can to X Afternoon. So the body shop is in the house, and with radar love, people drive just a little too fast. We were talking about the probably, I would imagine, well, it is the number one accident cause is just people going too terribly fast. And unfortunately, there was that horrible accident yesterday afternoon, later in the day there at 32nd in Columbia. And I'm distracted driving, going too quickly. And unfortunately, that's a challenge. Now, probably the majority of what you see in your shop is a little less wild, more like fender benders and other stuff. So let's start that off. What's the more common type of incidents you see being brought into the shop?
I would say like deer hits and, smaller hits here and there, because those big accidents, they're typically like they just have a good idea that it's going to be totaled.
Yeah.
Front end and back end are usually kind of the more on average that we see. If it's a T-bone or side, like, a side hit or something like that, typically those are going to be totaled just because of where the hit was at. So.
Sure, and that's terrible. I haven't heard anything about the folks from the accident, but just hope that they're okay. Okay, maybe this is a little inside joke at 775-5559. We want Rudy. So I'm not sure who that
Rudy.
Might be.
The quick lube.
Okay.
I could see what I could do. Maybe I could pull some strings and get him on the radio. I'll have to talk to his boss, but we'll see what we can do.
Well, that'd be fun. You never know. A text to 775-5559. How do you know if a wheel bearing is going out? Also, should you get all of them replaced?
That's typically a service question, but I mean, if you're hearing some weird noises coming from your car, you should always go and get it checked out.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that the service department would be your best bet to answer that question directly. We don't want to give any wrong information. So
exactly. Yeah, no, that's a good thing, and we do get that and I can see a little bit of confusion because you think body shop, you think, well, the whole body, but no, you're talking about the exterior, to which this text at 775-5559, do you repair aluminum body panels when a vehicle is in an accident or just replace them?
We do repair them if it's not completely destroyed.
We have, I think the majority of our techs are all certified in aluminum work, so we do have a lot of experience and techs that are able to repair it and replace it. So it's really whatever is the most convenient for the customer, the car, and even the insurance company. So.
And I would imagine that insurance does probably dictate a lot of stuff, maybe the approach that you need to take sometimes and what exactly goes on in that realm. So.
Yeah, the insurance does dictate, but there's also, repair procedures from OEMs that require us, that require certain parts to be replaced. So
sure.
There are certain things that we do negotiate with the insurance company based off of what the OEM specifically says.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, safety is always the number one thing that you think about, too. If something needs to be replaced because of an accident where it's safety, that's unquestionably it. Let's see. Does Rydell mix paint for customers so they can paint their own car?
I'm not going to give a absolute no to that, because we have done it in the past. There's been times where we've mixed paint for like a specialty color. We had a Corvette, not a couple years back. That was like an interesting orange color that we were able to get for that customer. So we are able to do that, just depending on how busy we are and things like that. But it's something that we could do if we absolutely had to.
Yeah, and then that way the work is guaranteed. There's no problems on the backside because it just makes better sense that way. 775-5559. You're on Rydell Car Talk. Go ahead, caller.
Good afternoon. Talking about orange Corvettes, I bought a few new Corvettes a few years ago. One was orange from another Chevrolet dealer. I had a problem with warranty work at Rydell's on the paint. The body shop really didn't want my business, and they took the cars in there, but they left the T-tops off, and they got all the body dust and everything inside. So I got the impression that Rydell's didn't want to do any warranty work. I'll hang up and listen. Thanks.
That sounds like a really bad day, or that just doesn't sound like the quality that Rydell does.
Right. I'd have to look into the specifics of that to see, what actually happened. I wouldn't be able to give an answer as to, the specifics as to, what exactly happened, but I could assure you that If it's covered under warranty, we will absolutely do the warranty work, as we do have a specific technician who's certified in Corvette repairs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I can see that like a 1 in a million, just maybe, and who knows?
There also could have been something that was outside of warranty.
Sure.
There's a lot of things. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of facets to that question or that issue that we'd have to explore to get a solid answer on.
Yeah, understood. So we'll just leave that lay where it is. A text to 775-5559. It doesn't seem like it takes much of a hit on a vehicle nowadays because of all the sensors.
I mean, that is very true.
Yeah, there's a lot of sensors in vehicles now for lane-assisted cruise control. Then there's all your sensors for if a vehicle is about to pass you, and it lights up your mirror, along with the parking sensors. And then you got the overview camera of the entire vehicle. Then you got to make sure all these are working properly to make it safe.
And cars aren't made like how they used to. They're not just all steel. Not. There's a bunch of different components in them now. So even a minor, accident, if it touches one of those sensors, it could, just running down our troubleshooting how to get that sensor to work again could take a long time.
Mm-hmm. You're listening to a KNOX Afternoon. Mark Hunes, John, and Tim in the studio. Rydell Car Talk on this Tuesday. The body shop is what we're looking at today. Let's see here. Text to 775-5559. If a job is supposed to take 4 hours to repair according to GM, but it ends up only taking an hour, does Rydell charge for the GM estimate or the hour?
So that greatly depends. So if GM pays 4 hours for a job on a warranty, then they'll pay us the 4 hours for the warranty job.
Okay. So it depends on it's kind of situational to a degree.
Well, the thing is that when you it's kind of like how because it's all commission work pay. Right?
Okay.
So that's kind of how it works.
Sure. Okay. Well, that makes sense then. When will GM switch to aluminum so bodies quit rusting out?
When will GM switch? I don't know. I have to talk to GM about that.
I mean, there is some panels on GMs that are aluminum.
Yeah.
It's just, I would assume maybe not the cab, because the cab is like the main part of the vehicle.
Sure.
So that's like, you got to be the safest spot.
Exactly. And I don't know that, folks, it's still basically a cage underneath everything there that is specifically designed to absorb all the impacts.
Correct.
So that's what protects you. The outer shell is typically metal, or it could be aluminum, depending on where it is on the body of the vehicle. But it is really more for, I don't want to say show, but that's what's the aesthetic that gives the vehicle its good look. Your safety really comes from that cage that you're sitting in that's protected.
Right. But just before we get to the next question, there was a question that was asked 2 weeks ago, last time we were here, about a recall for a Honda, I believe. And the specific question was, if it's a safety-related recall, will the dealership hold on to that vehicle and not give it back to the customer? I didn't have a good answer at that point, so I did some research, and we will not hold on to that vehicle. All we do is advise. So we'll advise that the recall is out there. The customer can deny the work if they so choose, but then they're liable for denying that work.
Sure.
So we will not hold on to the vehicle. We will not keep it for safety reasons. It's obviously the customer's car. They could take it. We just advise.
Right. You're advised and consent. You'll give your best information, what you know, the structural, any changes in there, and safety is number one.
Right.
Okay, a text to 775-5559. Okay, this goes back to the sensors. Sorry, forgot to add to total them out from a hit. So the question was, it doesn't seem to take much of a hit on a vehicle nowadays because of all the sensors, so to total the vehicle out. So I guess because once you trigger so many sensors, that's an indication that the damage that's been done is fairly significant.
Well, yes and no. I mean, there's a couple of things that go along with it. I mean, there's a certain dollar amount of damage, of repairable stuff that, where before the insurance company says that the car is totaled. So again, vehicles are becoming more safe to drive, but they're also very expensive to fix because of that. So even though it might seem like a minor hit, all the electronics behind there that were hit might add up to much more than what the car is worth. And so sometimes that's how cars get totaled out pretty quickly.
Okay, a text to 775-5559 gives me a minor correction here. For me, aluminum can have oxidation and corrosion in the metal. That's just as bad as rust. So, I mean, it's So when I think of rust, I'm literally thinking of metal. But you're right. Oxidation is essentially a form of rust, just in aluminum. So, yeah, I guess I should qualify that. So thank you, Texter. 775-5559. Let's see. When is GM heavy duty trucks going to fix their transmission? That sounds like a.
You have to ask GM.
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. We'll have to wait to see if they put out any notices or recall fixes for it. So.
You're listening to a KNOX Afternoon, a Tuesday edition. Mark Ewan's in studio with John and Tim of the Body Shop Rydell's here in town. So if you've got body shop questions, these folks are more than happy to help you. And otherwise, they know where to direct you to get your service taken care of. So deer hits, that's and this time of year, we're probably going to see more of those as the evenings come a little earlier and the deer are moving more. In town, obviously, we aside from the horrible accident yesterday, we have a lot of what we call fender benders. A lot of accidents like that are pretty common in this city, are they not?
They are.
Yes, very common, yes.
Yeah. So, folks, there's 3 pedals if you've got a clutch, 2 if you're a regular car. The one on the left is the brake.
Yeah.
The one on the right is the gas. You should probably use them both judiciously. Okay, just saying. Saying.
Yeah, I'll just even though it's it keeps us in business, accidents and stuff like that. We would much rather you not get in an accident than get in an accident. So be safe. Make sure you're paying attention when you're driving, especially because school is in session as well.
Mm-hmm.
Watch out for those kids. There's been times where I'll take my kid to school or pick him up from school, and I'll see people go right through a stop sign and things like that. So just please pay attention. There's a lot of things going on out there. So
there's nowhere you need to get that much quicker that's worth your life.
Right, exactly. Yeah, or you end up taking longer to get there because you're sitting there waiting for the law enforcement officer to finish writing the ticket in the accidents report. So, yeah, be 5 minutes late instead of not getting there. A texter says all these listeners failed reading comprehension in school. Okay, well, sometimes there's also people that would just like to poke the bear. Can they remove a 5-inch? Okay, can they remove a 5-inch long, 1/2-inch wide dent from my 79 Cadillac Coupe de Ville on the rear left fender? Wow. 5-inch long, half-inch wide.
It would greatly. There's a lot of things that go into it, is if there's paint missing, if the paint's cracked.
I wouldn't see why not, to be honest. Like, if it's just a dent, like, we fix those every day.
Right. I was thinking more of PDR. So if it was paintless dent repair, so like the quickest and easiest option, that would depend if there's paint cracking. But if it's a dent, the body shop could fix it now. Typically, we don't do stuff on classic cars unless it's accident related.
Sure.
We don't typically do things like restorations and things like that. But if there's a scratch or a dent like that, we can absolutely fix it.
Wait a minute. You said classic car. Then I just realized, wait, this is 2025. Is it 20 or 25 years is threshold to be considered a classic car? Because I know the number used to be, at least what memory I've got left.
I think if your car was made in 85 now or 86, you can get.
They don't typically go by the age of the car. They go based off of a certain date.
Sure.
So whatever year that date is, you can go back. Because I know you can also get those Peace Garden plates for a lot of older vehicles.
That's true. So, yep, technically a 79 would be a classic.
Yeah.
Wow. That's, good Lord. That's kind of scary. That's when I moved to North Dakota.
Well, a car made in 2000 could technically be considered a classic almost.
Wow. Okay, we're done here. No. Just kidding. You're listening to Rydell Car Talk, a regular feature on a Wednesday. Tuesday edition of a KNOX Afternoon. I'll get there eventually. What is GM's paint warranty? Does it go by mileage or years?
I think it goes by both, but whichever one. So it depends on which one comes first, right? So how long you've owned it, and then it also depends on how many miles is on it. So it's specific to the make and model, the year, things like that.
Okay. 775-5559. You're on Rydell Car Talk with the Body Shop. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, howdy, guys. I'm just wondering, is it still common practice, like when people are detailing the exterior of a vehicle, trying to make the paint look nice again? Obviously, buffing and waxing goes into that, but do people still clay bar their cars? Because growing up, all the old timers with their classics would say, oh, yeah, I just did a clay bar job on it. And if you ever clayed a car, very meticulous work. So is that still relevant today as far as body stuff goes?
Yeah, that still is relevant, and it's definitely a route you can go if you want to take the time and put in the effort on your vehicle.
Yeah, we have clay bars both, in the body shop and also our detail shop, so we do still use them.
Okay, cool. I do that as well. It definitely makes a big difference, but that's good to know people still do it. If anybody out there who hasn't clay barred a vehicle before, do it. You'll have a lot of appreciation for what body people do.
All right. Well,
a lot of work.
A lot of work.
No, appreciate the call. So, okay, I'll admit ignorance. I think of Bondo. That's obviously not clay bar. So what is that?
Bondo is a filler, and it's part of the repair when it comes to fixing a dent. Like you would start off by removing the paint and getting the metal up to best as possible, and then you fill in all the imperfections with Bondo.
Okay. And so the clay bar is a different process.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, learn something new every day. That's what I'm told. This is a KNOX afternoon, a Tuesday edition. Mark in studio with John and Tim, Rydell Car Talk. They're talking body work. So if you've got a question, we got a couple of minutes left at 775-5559. So if you've got, if somebody has to have a car brought in, what's the process? Obviously, it's pretty straightforward, but just to remind folks.
Yeah. So if you got an accident and you're looking for a shop to do some repairs, you could give us a call at 701-792-2846. We're located at 1502 28th Avenue South. And we work with all major insurance companies, and we try our best to make it as smooth and seamless as possible for the customer. We're essentially your middleman between you and your insurance company when it comes to the repair. And so you come in for an estimate. We submit that estimate number to your insurance company. They either approve or deny it. Once they approve the estimate, then we could order the parts. When we get the parts in, we'll have you come in and we'll get the repair done.
Yeah, obviously be patient because y'all are pretty busy, and depending on the work that has to be done. What would be, and I know I hate this question, what's normal in weather? There is no such thing. So what would be normal in a day for you when you get a car in the turnaround time? And yes, I know it varies tremendously depending on the amount of work.
That is a tough question depending on what it is. So let's use a dent as an example. Depending on how busy our shop is that day, sometimes we can get a dent repair to the paint side within a day, and then paint side does their magic. Then it comes back to us, and we put it back together. So it's 3 days most for a simple dent.
So that's the point, is that you're able to give a pretty good estimate as to how long. When you give an estimate, you're going to be in the ballpark so people can feel comfortable with what you're telling them. Yeah,
I mean, it's an automated system more or less for scheduling. So we go off of a 4-hour. The industry standard is 4 hours of touch time per day. And so once the estimate shoots out the amount of hours it's going to take, labor hours it's going to take, that's when the software gives us an estimated date of completion. So it's relatively spot on, but we usually try to get it done sooner. But there are times where we run into situations where the car is going to be there a little bit longer because more damage was found once we got into it. So.
Yeah, and I think, at least speaking for myself, if you tell me 3 days and it comes back in 2, I'm happy. It's when you say, we'll have it in 3 days and you run into a problem, that's when people tend to get crabby. So I know you want to do the most accurate that you possibly can. So that's the thing, folks, patience, tolerance, and acceptance. So
and we understand completely. You want your car back. We do everything we possibly can to get it back to you as soon as possible, but we want to make sure it's done safely and correctly.
Precisely. Safety is number one all the way around. Yeah.
Correct.
So to review, the brake is the long panel, the middle one, and the gas pedal's on the right. So make sure you keep those two separate, and then you'll be less likely visiting these folks. One more question here before I cut you loose. What is the toughest color to factory match and blend? Ooh.
Any tri-coat, really, I think.
Tri-coats are horrendous, but I can think of a color that comes to mind. It's GM white. The code for it's 140X, because I know for a fact that is one of the worst colors because they have well over 20 different variants that they got a color match to make sure they mix the paint correctly.
Wow. Yep, some of the whites are really, really hard because you could tell in certain lights, what the shade is pretty quickly. So, yeah, that's a tough one too.
You might look at 5 white vehicles and say they're all white, but they're all different.
Yeah,
in some
different
sort of
code.
way.
Yeah, different codes.
Sure. Yeah. Wow. That makes sense. So it looks one color to us, but you folks look at it and go, oh, man. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
But I will say white is the best color because you can't see scratches.
Correct. Black shows everything.
Everything.
So if they want to get in touch with you folks, how does that go again?
Yeah. So it is 701. Hold on one second. Of course, I closed it out.
That's okay. This is a pop quiz.
701-792-2846. And our address is 1502 28th Avenue South.
All right. Yeah. You think you get out of school, but pop quizzes just keep coming. John, Tim, thank you for both being here today on this Tuesday Rydell Car Talk. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
All right. You folks take care, and we'll talk to somebody again next week.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Very good. Mark Ewan's on this Tuesday edition of A Can of